If I could talk to every single parent before they started potty training, I would tell them these things. Number one, buy my potty training course. I'm not just saying that because it's my course, but every single client that I have spoken to that has bought this course has said that it has opened their eyes to a different way of potty training. Not only is my course child-led and parent-supported, it is also one source. It is not reading different books, different blogs, different websites, all the things. It is one source and one professional potty training coach. When you buy my course, you have a 1-hour support call to answer all your questions before you go into potty training. And then you also have a 30-minute call within 30 days of potty training where you can ask any of the questions that came up along the way. So you have the support, you have the information, you have everything you need, so you don't need the internet. I know the internet can be overwhelming. The second thing that I would say, might get a little heat for this, but pull-ups do not equal potty training. Now, that doesn't mean that you should never use pull-ups ever, but I do think that pull-ups have a time and a place. It's just not when you're actively potty training. Can pull-ups be used when you are pre-potty training? Absolutely. It is a great way for your child to learn how to push down and pull up their own pants. Now, if they keep it dry, great. If they pee or poop in it, kind of expect that to happen. Using pull-ups is not a means of potty training. The third thing that I would want parents to know is that you need to potty train your child on their timeline. You are not potty training on school's timeline, on your timeline, on maybe you having a next baby timeline and you want one kid out of diapers before you have a second kid. Those just aren't realistic times to potty train. Now, yes, sometimes there can be a great correlation and it can work, but that is not supposed to be the one major driving factor in potty training. If it is, I urge you to question your reasons on why you want to potty train, and then I want you to consider if it is the best thing for your child. If you're putting your child under too much stress and too much unnecessary stress, if they're not actually ready for potty training, it will backfire. I promise you, it will backfire and your child will not. They literally will not potty train. If they're not ready, they will not do it. The fourth thing that I would want parents to know is that you need to expect accidents. I think most parents are pretty realistic in the fact that accidents will happen when you are potty training, but it's not necessarily about the accident that happens, it's more about your reaction to the accident. Now, of course, I have a whole section and a whole unit in my course about accidents and how to handle them, so make sure you grab the course in the description box down below. The fifth thing that parents need to know before jumping into potty training is that you have to be consistent, and that's why I am literally handing you a plan on a silver platter so that you know exactly what to do, exactly what order to do it in, and that you can be consistent. If you're wishy-washy and just jumping into potty training, not knowing anything about how you're gonna do it or what happens next, that's just going to be a recipe for disaster. The sixth thing that I want parents to know is that you need to prepare your child. Potty training should not be a surprise. This is not something that you are giving your child or doing to your child. It's something you're doing with your child. Your child is in control of their own body. You can't make your kid pee. You can't make your kid poop. They have to understand that this is going to happen and it's going to happen in a certain way. They really should have time to prepare themselves mentally. And I know it sounds a little bit crazy saying that your toddler needs to mentally prepare for potty training, but when you have a specific date in mind or a specific plan, your child should be aware of that because this is something huge that they are going to be learning. When preparing your child for potty training, I like to encourage parents to make a countdown chain with their child so they can take one link off every day as they get closer to ditching their diapers, or circling a date on the calendar and crossing off at the end of the day so that they can see how many days until potty training. The seventh thing that parents should definitely know before going into potty training is that putting too much pressure on your child is going to backfire. I know that I mentioned this one before, but I really wanted to drill this concept home. The more pressure you put on your child, the more they're going to resist and the more they're going to push back, because that's exactly what toddlers do in the first place. When you tell your child to do something and you are just like, this is what you need to do, sit on the toilet and go pee, they're gonna fight you and they're gonna say, no, why do I wanna do that? Toddlers are supposed to test the limits. They're supposed to push the boundaries. They are supposed to do these things. So if you are putting too much pressure on potty training, it's just not going to work. Your child is going to feed off of your energy, so just make sure you're putting positive vibes out there and make sure you're following the plan and doing exactly what your child needs when it comes to potty training, and it will go incredibly way more smoothly than if you are forcing your child to sit on the toilet every 10 minutes. That is the most obnoxious strategy that I've ever heard of, so don't do it. Now, as I mentioned before, I have a potty training course that is called Potty Party the course. Why? Because potty training should be more like a party. This is something that you are doing with your child, for your child, not to your child. This is not you directing them to go sit on the toilet. It is you encouraging them to listen to their body, learn what their body is telling them, and to listen to what their body needs at any given moment. That lesson is going to go so much further in life than to just habitually make them sit on the toilet, because let's face it, nobody wants to just sit on the toilet every few minutes and see if something comes out. Now, I know the internet is overwhelming. I know there are so many opinions out there, so many different ways of potty training, but I have proven that my method works, and it works quickly. So if you are confused, you don't know where to start, and you landed on this video because you're overwhelmed by everything on the internet, grab Potty Party the course and get the support that goes along with it, because that is the most valuable thing, is just having, I am a dual certified potty training consultant. So having me in your back pocket while you're potty training instead of all the noise on the internet, I really, really, really recommend that you do that. I want to be there for you. I want to be there for your child, and I want to help you along this journey of potty training. This is going to be your first look into your child's learning style, and it is going to be the same for the rest of their lives. And I can tell you from experience, my oldest, he is a boy, and I know they say that like girls and boys are like easier to potty train boys than girls. It's not true, but my boy, he was so easy, and I spent one whole day with him just potty training, and he got it. My daughter, I love her. She is my Spitfire, who at 22 months old, when I had a newborn baby in my arms, she decided she wasn't wearing diapers anymore, and I said, girlfriend, no. She ended up potty training herself, and it worked. And then with my youngest, I potty trained him in half a day with this strategy. So I highly recommend grab this course and keep blooming. Mwah.